Hey, Bucs fans, welcome. Are you Buc AF? Are you Buc as? Well, you know what the F stands for. Anyway, you guys ready for some good Bucs talk tonight? We got all kinds of info. We are really going to unpack the BA, Tom Brady, Todd Bowles, all of that. We're going to unpack all of that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into some detail. And we have some special guests, former Bucs wide receiver, Michael Clayton. And
number
from
15
CBS
overall
Sports.
pick, 2004 draft.
That's right. And from CBS Sports, Jeff Kerr. So this is going to be a big night, guys. We got all kinds of goodies coming to you, but we are really going to unpack this this Brady, Arians, Bulls, all of this stuff. So anyway, we're going to get to that. My name is Rick Hughes. I am your host here. I am one of the hosts. I'm here with my partner in crime, the always dazzling David White. Scarver, how you doing, buddy?
Great.
Good talk. All right, so let's get into this. Perhaps you heard that Bruce Arians retired, stepped up to the front office. He's now, I don't know, senior football guru or something like that.
Senior football consultant.
There you go. So we've got that.
I gotta
we've
go look that up, see what that means.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. So yeah, we got all kinds of info. Hey, Alec, I see you out there. How you doing? All right, guys. I'm gonna kick this thing off if that's okay, Dave. I want to kick this thing off, and I want to talk about a couple of things. We're gonna get into: did Tom Brady force Bruce Arians out? Did Arians leave on his own? If Brady did force Arians out, how did he do it? What rings true? What doesn't ring true? We're gonna get into all of this. The one thing I do want to say, ultimately, guys, the Bucs had a good week this week. Even when, it's amazing when your Super Bowl coach retires and you still had a good week. It's pretty amazing. You see, we had BA for one more year. Now the Bucs are set for 5 years. You could have lost BA. There are all kinds of things. This could have gone a lot of different ways, but the Bucs are now set for years to come. There was a lot going on here. This is a fact. Bruce Arians built a staff that shows that he has a desire to truly impact an organization. His staff shows he really wants to impact the players and the other coaches. Not only when it comes to minority hiring, but also the fact that there were that many coaches, way more than any other team. The reason being, he wants to run 2 separate practices so you can find the diamonds in the rough, the guys that are normally on the practice squad that get lost. And he wants all of these coaches so that you can ultimately find really good players. He's taking care of the players. So Bruce Arians he has shown that he wants to take care of staff. He wants to take care of the organization and wants to take care of the players. We have that as that's just a fact. Now, what I want to get into here is this. Guys, not everything has to be tribal. Not everything has to be a binary choice, one way or the other. There's no other options. You don't have to choose Coke or Pepsi, no matter what they tell you. You don't have to pick one or the other. If I go to a restaurant and I say, hey, I'd like a Diet Coke, and they say, is Diet Pepsi okay? Yes. And honestly, they don't taste that different. Okay? Yeah, maybe they taste a little bit different, but not enough for me to sit there, that other stuff is disgusting. No. You're buying into the belief that you have to choose one or the other, Mac or PC. You know what? I've worked on both. They both do the job. Red or blue. There's so many different choices that you have to choose. And people fall into this. If you remember, for a little while there, a couple of years ago, the question when Brady first got here, people divided into camps, the Winston camp or the Brady camp. Are you kidding me? You don't have to choose Winston or Brady. I choose the Buccaneers. I'm a Bucs fan. I choose the Bucs. You don't have to be divided. Maybe you see things a little differently. If you recall, prior to that, we all had to choose back in the draft, Winston or Mariota. Which one? Which one are you going to choose? And you had to choose one side or the other. Well, while you had to get in one camp or the other, understand this. We had two choices, and they were both bad. Turns out, neither one turned out so good.
Hey, the Falcons are going to probably dispute that.
Well, we'll find out. But, I mean, and same with the Saints. But, I mean, we'll see. But the thing is, you don't always have to buy into it's one way or the other. You don't have to get into a Bruce Arians or Tom Brady camp. You don't have to say, oh, I think they were fighting. They had to be fighting because there's no other option. There's no other alternative. There had to be this ultimatum. Brady forced him out or something similar. It's this belief that everything has to be all, completely one way or the other that it might not be. Okay, what if they have different offensive philosophies? And yeah, sometimes they disagreed, but I don't believe Tom Brady ever went to the organization and gave an ultimatum. I'll come back if Arians leaves. I don't believe that ever happened. And there's so much proof about that. The fact that he was at the press conference. Can you imagine sitting in the front row of that press conference if he forced him out?
He didn't dress up for that occasion.
I mean, so I want to take an honest look at this, and I've spent some time doing this. I've spent some time. Look, during year one, the Super Bowl year, there were rumors of a rift between Brady and BA at that point. Okay, different philosophies, different ways of approaching things. Year two, guys, let's take a look at the reality of last season. The Buccaneers, we look at it and we go, oh, wow, it was the best offensive year this team's ever had. Brady had a crazy good year. But guys, in many ways, listen close, guys. In many ways, the offense was dysfunctional. If you don't believe me, I want you to remember December 19th of last year when the Bucs were shut out by the Saints. You follow that up a few weeks later with the Jets and the AB blow up. And no matter what you say about anything, let me point out one thing. When it came to the BA blow up, Tom Brady was silent. He did not throw his coach under the bus, but he didn't defend him either. He stayed silent. Other players came out. Other people did things. Tom Brady stayed silent. Now, BA didn't really want AB there in the first place, and BA said, okay, Brady wants him. Okay, we'll take him. They worked together. They worked it out. That's how I think this relationship worked. They worked with each other on things. But guys, we were losing to the Jets at halftime, came back and won. The Rams game in the playoffs. Tom Brady got his butt kicked. He was on the ground half the game. He was getting hit constantly. It was a bad game plan from the beginning. They almost came back and won, but it was a bad game plan. By the Super Bowl, already we were hearing the whispers and the talks and everything, guys. Look, Rich Orenberger, who I have made fun of here, he said there was a problem. It was backed up by a few sketchy folks.
Sources. He's got sources.
But guys, I mean, you look at that and you go, all right, Rich Orenberger saying this. Well, then Brady retires. Brady comes back and BA retires. Guys, do the math. There was something there. Okay? There was something there. There was something there. Now, let's be honest. It probably, I don't believe Brady went to the Bucs and said, I'm only coming back if BA retires. I think Brady retired. And I think it got forced into it maybe before he was ready to do it. But I don't think it's a binary situation. I don't think Brady issued some sort of an ultimatum to the Bucs. He probably was asked about returning. We know they were negotiating, trying to work on other quarterbacks and things, and he was probably asked about returning. And he probably said, well, I'm torn. You know, the whole no risk it, no biscuit thing. I'm 45. I'm 45 years old. I got my butt kicked, and we didn't perform well at the end of the year last year. Can we work on that? Can we make some changes? Can we do some things? That's maybe all it was. And Bruce Arians steps in. Jason Light probably calls him up and says, hey, Tom's willing to come back. He'd like to change some things. Are you okay with it? Bruce probably said, it's a good time for me to go ahead and call it a day. It's a good time. You know, I mean, look, if you look at all of the moving parts, we almost lost Byron Leftwich to the Jaguars, but he turned down the job. So he's got the perfect situation. And BA, who has proven and has talked about openly that he wants to take care of his coaches, of his coordinators. He did it. This is what he did. He stepped aside. Now, listen, Tom Brady is a grind kind of guy. He loves the grind. He wants everybody 100%, demands 100% from everybody. At Bruce Arians, he wasn't a grind kind of coach anymore. He'd show up a little late. He'd leave a little early and let the coordinators and everybody do their job. There's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't really fit Tom Brady's all in or nothing mentality. So, guys, I honestly think that what ended up happening is just, hey, you know, we get a little bit of different philosophy here. And BA probably said, you know what, I'm gonna get out of the way because I was going after this year anyway. So, you know, maybe that's what happened. I mean, AB is the only player anywhere that I've heard talk negatively about Bruce Arians. Every single other player talks glowingly about this guy, including Tom Brady. So Brady goes to the Man U game. The next day he unretires. Not long after that, Bruce Arians retires. You really don't think those things are connected? So, I don't know. The Bucs have already announced that they're going to run more. They've already put it out there. There are changes coming. You know, you got Todd Bowles, who's a more buttoned up, disciplined kind of guy. More like what Brady wants. This is not bad for the Bucs. It's not bad for Arians. It's not bad for Bowles. It's not bad for Brady. And ultimately, it's not bad for you, the fans. This whole exercise has brought us to a better place. Let that wash over you guys. We're in a good position. Dave, any thoughts?
I think you put it in a very accurate light. I mean, there's things we'll never know that were said behind closed doors, and we, quite frankly, don't need to know them. Was there absolutely nothing there? I think that's not a tenable position. However, to think that somehow Tom Brady went out of character and got a coach fired or removed, I think is ridiculous.
And then went to his retirement press conference.
Right. I don't see Tom Brady blah, blah, blah. During a football game. I see him being cold and calculating and ruthless, but I don't see him doing that to a player's coach that he just pushed out the door. So I think you probably have had a realistic and probably a likely balance. Again, we're never going to know exactly what happened.
Right.
I would have thought there would have been better succession planning, because with free agency coming out, if Bruce Arians was truly hanging it up and knew in advance, you would want to do it pretty close to as soon as the season's over.
Right.
Free agents, who the coach will be, and as far as recruiting free agents is important, and it just stabilizes your organization.
And there's
so
the story of Arians wasn't going to retire because Brady wasn't coming back, and he didn't want to leave Bowles an organization in that kind of a position. Something doesn't ring true here.
Well, I mean, Bruce Arians is the kind of guy that wants to set his coaches up for success. And I think there is some truth. There's absolute truth to that. And I think there's some truth that, okay, Todd Bowles is now going to be in a win now situation. He certainly wasn't with the Jets. So those are kind of the thoughts that I have about the matter. It just amazes me how things get generated and how they have legs. You mentioned Rich Ornberger, and he basically took a victory lap and said, "See, I told you so." This is a guy who got Patrick Mahomes and his now wife Brittany all messed up and should have been embarrassed and maybe stay quiet for a while. But apparently that wasn't his MO, and he had to go out on a limb.
Not for nothing, though. He did get it right. He did tell us so. So as much as we can dog him for it, and I have.
Well, I still don't think there's tension in when you've got this much. The players that play as intensely as NFL players do, when you have contracts with astronomical values, which when I was 5 years old, never thought would happen in my lifetime, you're going to have tense moments. There's the pressure to win now or not. Somebody pointed out that Mike Krzyzewski, if he started coaching today, he would never be successful like he is because he didn't do well in his first few seasons, and that usually means you get fired. So it's a very high pressure sports arena, especially in the National Football League. And there's going to be tension. There's going to be friction between quarterbacks and coordinators and head coaches, etc. If there isn't, there's something wrong. So,
Dave, does Brady come back with Arians at the helm?
Yes, because he came to the Bucs
Did he?
with Arians at the helm.
Did he?
I believe so.
Was this kind of already? Remember, it comes out later. Brady knew at that point Arians was stepping down. They said, the decision was kind of made back then. Once Brady said he was coming back, Arians said, "Okay, I'm going." I mean, there's
something fishy there because they said Todd Bowles didn't know till like a couple days before.
Right.
So how is the guy who you're going to hire not know? Right. But the quarterback does. I mean,
there's a lot of story there.
There was a little disconnect there as to what was really going on. But I think the overall assessment that you had is pretty accurate. There was probably some friction. There should be some friction.
Yes.
If two people agree on anything, one's not needed. So
can you imagine Tom Brady and his obsessive workaholic mentality? They're early working hard with Byron. They are busting their butts working, and then
he got thrown out of a park. Remember when he got here? He got thrown out of a park.
In Stroll's BA and undoes a lot of what they've been working on. I think there might be a part of Brady who's going, "Why weren't you here when we were doing this?" So hold on, we've got a call. Todd, how you doing, Todd?
Hey, Rick. Hey, David. How are you, sir?
Todd, how are you? It's fine Tuesday night.
Good. Listen, I've been listening to you both, and I've got a couple comments, couple things to say.
Yep.
And I totally agree with what you said, Rick. Everything is spot on. One of the things I want to say is, relationships, even in marriages, you have arguments. There's no perfect marriage out there. If a guy comes up and tells me he has a perfect marriage, relationships out there. And do I think that Bruce and Tom argued? Certainly they did. And you talked about the philosophies of both of them. They both have different philosophies. You got to remember, Brady played in New England for 20 years with Bill Belichick.
Yep.
And you talk about a guy that's disciplined. You're not going to get a guy any more disciplined than Bill Belichick.
Right.
Good for all parties. I think it's good for the Buccaneers organization. I think it's good for Bruce. Takes a lot of pressure off him. And I think he's very capable. And I think Todd Bowles is going to be good for Tom Brady.
Yeah. Well, I think Todd Bowles. Here's Todd Bowles, I think, is going to get out of Brady's way and let Brady do what Brady feels like he can do. And at this point in his career, I'm okay with that. At this point, I'm all right. There were times that was perplexing last year why the offense was struggling and stumbling. And I wonder if it wasn't some sort of like a battle between the two of them that was playing out on the field, each trying to get their way, and you end up too many Chiefs. I'm not allowed to say that anymore, am I? That's a bad saying. Caught myself. Anyway, you have it to me is, guys, things are there's nuance in this world. And as much as we're told which one is good, Coke or Pepsi, which one is good, Mac or PC, which one is good, red or blue, which one is good, everything is one. You have to go one choice or the other choice. And, sometimes neither choice is good. Sometimes both choices are good. I mean, this world is messy. And when you're trying to choose Winston or Mariota, turns out
C would have been better.
Yeah, it didn't matter. And if you look at that draft, Dave, read the first round in that draft in 2015. If you go down the names, there are some like Dante Fowler that are good, and there are some that are good players. But if you read the first round of the 2015 draft, you're like, holy crap, that was a bad draft.
It was a bad draft.
And people don't always realize it. So yeah, guys, I'm not I root for Brady, but I'm a Buccaneers fan. When Brady's gone, I will still be a Buccaneers fan. And
I'm a Buccaneers fan for life.
Right. And
now I wasn't a Tom Brady fan when he was in New England.
Uh-huh.
You got to remember, New England came to Tampa on a Thursday night a few years ago. We should have beat him that night.
Right.
And we didn't.
Yep.
And I remember Gronk did not play that night. But when Brady came here, did he change the organization? Did he change the culture over there? Absolutely.
And the thing is, it was both of them, Todd. It was both of them. BA started it, and Brady finished it.
Exactly. Yes, Bruce came in, and Bruce got the train rolling.
Yeah.
And he figured out that Jameis had a great year, his final year with us. I mean, he passed for 5,000 yards, I believe. But he also threw 33 interceptions. And you can't keep throwing the ball to the opposite team and expect to win. And that's why Winston got dumped. So, yep. I mean, nothing against Jameis. Listen.
Well, I'll step out against Jameis. Jameis didn't do good for us. We number one overall, didn't work.
Obviously, we picked up a pretty good quarterback, and that seemed to have fixed the problem.
What's that?
We picked up a pretty good quarterback after Jameis left, and that seemed to have fixed the problem. So it was
we picked up the best quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I still get, you know, I go to the bar and have a couple beers, and I still get arguments with people about who's the best quarterback of all time. I get it with Rodgers.
Oh, it's
Breeze,
silly. That's
Peyton
just
Manning,
silly. At this point, it's a silly discussion.
Joe Montana, and I'm thinking to myself, I was telling somebody the other day, I said, if you put Breeze, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and Brett Favre all there together, they still don't add up to 7 Super Bowls like Brady has.
That's exactly right.
I had a lady tell me she's a big Steeler fan, and I understand Steeler fans. They're avid fans for their Steelers. I get it.
Right.
She was trying to tell me that Terry Bradshaw is better than Tom Brady, and I almost fell over.
Good for her. Good for her, though.
I started laughing at her, and I said, "You got to be
kidding." It's a different game. It's a different game now. It's more passing oriented.
Good for her. You know, standing up and believing in whatever. Good for her. That's fanatic.
She's a Steelers fan. She's taking it for a guy. I get it.
It's a fanatic thing. Good for her.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to take up for my guys too.
Yeah.
I think Bruce is a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
And I think Tom Brady is the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just like anything, Rick and David. You can argue who's the best basketball player of all time. Now you got LeBron coming up. He's getting ready to pass Kareem next year. And there's going to be a lot of people on that train with LeBron that thinks he's better than Jordan.
Yeah.
You can argue the same thing in baseball. You can argue the same thing in football. I mean,
you can't. I just don't feel. I don't feel you can argue. I don't feel you can argue for anybody else. I really think in basketball you can make the argument. Baseball you can make the argument. Hockey, it's a tough argument, but you can make the argument for somebody other than Gretzky, maybe. But maybe.
No.
But
no.
You can't argue it in football. You just can't. Listen, Aaron Rodgers, they're flocking out of Green Bay. Okay, they're coming, they're flocking to Tampa.
I get arguments all the time over Aaron Rodgers. And listen, I don't take anything away from Aaron Rodgers, but Brady got shafted last year on the MVP. Brady should have been the MVP. I don't care how many interceptions less Rodgers threw than Brady. Brady had maybe his best year of his career last year.
Yeah.
At 44 years old.
Yeah, I think what happened there, honestly, was the last several weeks of the year, the Bucs offense just started stumbling. And I mean, you get shut out by the Saints and struggle against the Jets. That's a hard sell after that. And you know, people are tired of Brady. I mean, Brady wins everything. So, you know,
it's cool when he's on your team.
Yeah, it is great when he's on your team, but he wins everything.
There's a lot of, you know what, guys, there's a lot of people jealous of Brady. There's a lot of jealousy out there. And hey,
Peyton Manning wanted his wine
back. Is a man's man.
Yeah.
Brady, you know, he does it the right way.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's another thing that I remember Bruce Arians saying in a press conference. He says, I'll tell the guys something and they'll just look at me. He says, Brady tells them something.
Yeah.
They listen.
Yeah.
Now what, you know, and not taking anything away from Bruce, but what does that tell you? The players are listening more to Brady than they are Bruce.
Well, but the players are listening. How do you not listen to Tom Brady? I mean, that coach is in an impossible situation. I mean,
well, he is, and you know, and Brady, you know, and I hear all these analysts Brady hasn't seen. He's been playing this will be his 23rd year.
Right.
There isn't anything the guy has not seen on the football field.
Right. And he knows the thing that I guess what I'm looking forward to is this. There were times last year when we were all trying to figure out, this is over the last 2 years, we were trying to figure out the game plan. We were trying to understand what was happening. It didn't really make sense. with the Bucs, the offensive game plan. Why did you only run 3 times? What in the heck is going on? And I mean, there were things that happened that were head scratchers that left us wondering, why is this offense not that? For all intents and purposes, this offense should have been phenomenal, and it struggled. So I look at it and say, why did the offense struggle? I mean, you say, no, it didn't. It was the best offense we've ever had. Again, I'll bring back the end of the year. We were getting killed by the Rams. We got shut out by the Saints. We struggled against the Jets. So this offense should not be struggling like that. And it seemed like Arians was sort of hell-bent on not running the ball.
Well, let me tell you something. If what you said is true, I heard you early in the program. If they're going to run the ball more,
yeah, they said they are.
Well, let me tell you, I've got all the trust and faith in the world in Fournette.
Well, he gets hurt.
He is a beast.
He gets hurt.
And to me, he was a top 5 running back last year.
He gets hurt.
He does get hurt, which scares me because now we got Gio and we got Keyshawn Vaughn. We might need to add another running back.
Yeah.
Whether it's a veteran
if you're going to run the ball more, you
him.
better hurry.
No, he got the draft. Yeah, you don't have to hurry. You've got the draft.
Well, I mean, it's a sense of urgency.
I've been hearing rumors that, and you're going to hear all kinds of rumors. You're going to hear smoke right now. I've been hearing rumors that they might draft a running back.
We're hearing all kinds of rumors. This is silly season. We hear all kinds of craziness right now. Everybody's talking all kinds of stuff.
I get gas.
What the Saints did with the Eagles in that trade, that just tells me the Saints know what they're up against us.
Yeah.
So that tells me that they're just a little bit leery and a little bit scared, which I like it.
Yeah, they're being aggressive. Good for them. If you're a Saints fan, that's a good thing. So good for them. But, I just don't see this division as being close. And I don't see the Bucs putting up gaudy, crazy numbers this year like they have the last couple of years. I think it's going to be a more conservative year. And I think they're going to win a lot of games. And Brady is going to, in essence, manage the season until you get to the playoffs.
Well, I would love it if they did that.
Yeah.
When you say that tells me that the defense is going to have to really step up this year.
That's exactly correct.
And we can win close games.
Yeah.
We can win close games.
What happened with
our 2 nemesis teams are the Saints and the Rams.
What happened with Tyrann Mathieu? Did he sign with the Saints? I know he visited the Saints today. I haven't heard anything.
He was visiting them. I have not seen a signing yet, but that don't mean that he hasn't.
Well, hopefully he'll come back and talk to his new father-in-law, Todd Bowles.
Yeah, he's engaged to Todd Bowles' stepdaughter.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have that little cog thrown into the ring. So
that would be a nice.
As Dave would say, Honey Badger don't lie.
He's a good veteran presence, and he would help a lot of the young guys as well.
Yep.
Well,
absolutely.
are we being presumptuous thinking that Gronkowski's definitely coming back? And
I don't care what you hear at this point. I believe Gronk is coming back. I believe Gronk would throw crazy rumors out there just to mess with people. I absolutely believe he's coming back and just does not want to deal with OTAs and all of that. He's not on the team right now. He can skip whatever he wants to skip right now and sign a little bit later.
You and I have talked about this. We talked about this and texted about this. David, I'm going to throw the question at you too. Julian Edelman.
He has no knees. It's not a question, Todd.
To be a coach?
Play.
To coach, you mean?
Yeah.
You want him to be a receivers coach or something like that?
You don't think he can play anymore?
No.
Or he would be.
Staying out for a year?
No.
He would be playing if he could.
No, and they're what they're doing is just messing with you by putting the little tweets out there and the messages. They're just having fun.
You read them, didn't you?
Boy. Okay. You know, I saw Brady and him playing pitch and catch, and
Right.
you know, it got everything. It got people thinking, you know.
Well, and that's exactly what they were doing.
And Edelman together again.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing, is they were playing with people. Hey, I got to run, Todd. We have a guest.
Okay, you guys, have a great night.
All right, sounds good. Take care, Todd.
Great hearing from you, Todd. Have a good evening.
All right. Now we are going to bring in a special guest here from CBS Sports, NFL writer. He's host on the, and I'm sorry if I say this wrong, is it Jaquib Media? You can follow him on Twitter at Jeff Kerr CBS. It's an honor to have him here. The place can now be a little bit smarter, and I'm glad. And just
I dressed up.
Yeah, you dressed up for this, huh? Whoop, let me fix that for you. Sorry about that. All right, how you doing, Jeff?
Well, I wouldn't say the place got a little bit smarter. I'll say that. I think we'll be stupider by the time I'm out of here.
We can always hope. We can always hope. If you've ever ever seen any of our shows, that's our wheelhouse. So we can.
We're consistent.
I don't think we have the smartest fan base in the world. We have entertaining fans. I don't know if we would call us smart though.
Yeah, no, we definitely don't have the smartest fan base, and they'll fight over anything. So I got a question. Now, how about you tell me flat out what's with the smoke? Is there fire? What's the deal regarding BA and TB12?
So I just look at it this way. Bruce Arians was going to retire after next year. He just decided to do it a year early because Tom Brady decided to come back, and he wants to put Todd Bowles in the best situation to win. And we all know Todd Bowles is going to get a golden opportunity next year. That's all I got.
Yeah, that I think that's accurate. Do I think there's got to be something to all of it? You hear the rumors, you hear all of this, then Brady unretires, then BA retires. Do I think there's something to it? We're never going to know the truth behind it, but I don't think Brady gave an ultimatum. I don't think BA said, I'm not coaching if he comes back. I don't think it was anything of that sort.
I think Bruce Arians, I was actually kind of shocked when Brady retired. Bruce Arians wasn't going to do it because Bruce Arians doesn't remind me of a coach that I'm going to stick around for a rebuilding project. I'm 69 years old. I don't do rebuilding projects. I've earned the right not to coach rebuilding projects. I'm surprised Pete Carroll isn't retired at this point.
Well, if he keeps scolding the owners, that he might be retired a little more quickly than he's wanted to.
Than he planned.
So what when you see the draft coming up, what is it that you see? You know what? I mean, are there any surprises? Is this draft class? I've never look. I'm not a college football guy. I have my teams I like. I like Florida. I like Penn State. I can tell you that.
I bleed orange and blue.
You're a good man, by the way. I'm a Penn State.
Yeah, I like UCF. These are my schools, so that I like. But having said that, I don't know anybody in this draft like normal. I mean, like yes, I've heard names. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying compared to most years, that was bad timing. This just feels like nothing's happening. Like I don't know. I'm not excited about anybody.
It's an underwhelming class. I'm gonna say that. There are guys. If you need an edge rusher or an offensive lineman, you're gonna love this class. You really are. Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson, guys like that. I mean, you're Detroit, you're Jacksonville, you're salivating right now. It's a good class for you, and you don't need like the Detroit Lions need a quarterback, but they don't need a quarterback. I'm not drafting Malik Wills at number 2 overall. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But say you're Tampa, you're looking at this situation. You know what? Maybe these quarterbacks are so bad, we can get a starter. I think Kenny Pickett's a good quarterback. I just think everybody looks at the hand size and say he's 24 years old and it's underwhelming. And I kind of agree with some people. Davis Mills might have been the top quarterback in this draft. And Davis Mills was pretty good for the Texans last year. But I think Kenny Pickett's pretty good. And That's the only guy I like. But overall, you're right. If you're looking at the sexy positions like quarterback, running back, you might as well forget it. It's a deep wide receiver class, and
I was going to say it's deep at wide receiver.
Yeah, which Tampa Bay, you could say, might want to get. I mean, they did resign Chris Godwin, and Russell Gage is here, but again, you can always get the young receiver. The Eagles need wide receivers every year, so I'm loving this. We're going to get somebody, but yeah, if you need a wide receiver, you're set. That's why I wouldn't pay these guys top of the line money right now.
Yeah, and let me ask you, as draft day comes, you think, are the Bucs going to stand pat? You think? I mean, Jason Light never seems to trade up, down, anywhere. He just he sticks with where he's at.
Or play out a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I feel like the Bucs, depending on what they need. Now, I think they need defensive tackle. I know that Ndamukong Suh's asking to come back. I think you should bring him back. I don't know if Jason Pierre-Paul will come back, but I think they need to rebuild amongst the offensive and defensive line. I think you can get a couple good edge rushers late in that draft or in that first round, or I think you can get a good offensive lineman late in that first round. So unless they see a guy they really like, but again, I don't see like trading. I don't. It just doesn't seem like his MO. That's not something he wants to do. So right now,
I wish they'd trade down. I wish they would stockpile picks for next year. I wish they would start doing that. And but he's not much for that. He'll trade up every once in a while, like in the second or third round, and draft a kicker, but we won't go there.
How's Roberto Aguayo working out for you guys?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that hurt. I'm still not over it.
I don't know what's worse, honestly. Like, they drafted him, or they let Matt Gay just kind of walk. I liked him too. And I don't know.
Well, Matt Gay was a good kicker who couldn't kick in Tampa. I mean, he just couldn't kick in Tampa. If you don't believe me, what was the yardage, Dave, on the playoff game that he
like 44 yards and he
kicked short. A field goal short at 44 yards.
44 yards. It's like, oh, that's going to be good. No, it's not.
Growing up an Eagles fan, the Bucs gave me probably the two worst losses I've experienced as a kid. The NFC Championship game, obviously, when they closed the vet down, and Matt Bryan's 62-yard field goal, which I'm still, I still have nightmares over. Just the whole.
The years prior to that, you guys kept me up at night. You guys.
I watched a lot of those old Eagles Bucs games too, which is what makes it worse because the Eagles, they did a number on the Bucs for a long time. So
year after year after year. It was like, here we go again. And I'll tell you, the year that they did win, the year that the Bucs did shut down the vet, that was the only thing I can compare it to is probably like Duke, North Carolina. It's this cathartic. It's over. It's over.
You know, I said right after the Bucs won, they're going to win the Super Bowl. There's no doubt about it. I don't care. They could have faced the greatest team ever. They were going to win the Super Bowl that year. I thought whoever won that game was going to win that Super Bowl.
Is the NFC as bad as I think it is?
It's bad.
I mean,
it's really bad.
Yeah.
But I saw on your Twitter feed, Jeff, that I think it was a few days ago, that you had a certain team ahead of the Bucs in the NFC after free agency. Are you going to reassess that at some point? Perhaps I thought I could give you that opportunity now.
Oh, I gotta give them the benefit of the doubt here because they did beat Tampa in Tampa, but I know better not to diss Tom Brady. By the way, Tom Brady and Bruce Arians were going to be my number one quarterback head coach duo again, and then Bruce Arians decided to walk away. So so now they don't qualify. So don't get upset at me when I come out with that list in the summer. Because
let me ask you this though. I look at and I look at the Rams now. There's no OBJ. There's no. I lost the name of the other receiver that's gone. Yes, they took some hits, and the Bucs really kind of haven't. I mean, Gronk's coming back. I'm not even. There's not even a little bit of me that's worried about this.
I don't worry about Gronk either. I probably interviewed Gronk more than anybody over the past year. I'm not even worried about him. I think he's just going to take his time. He doesn't need to come back now. He doesn't. He'll just come out with some random day. Yeah, I'm coming back. It's once Brady went back, I'm like, well, there goes any chance of him going to Cincinnati or Buffalo. So
right. Well, I know he was talking about how Well, let me say that he's got a draft party in Vegas that he's going to have, so he won't have any team function. No official team activities he's got to do. He's going to party for a little while, do the Gronk thing for a little while, and then, they don't have to deal with salary cap or anything with him right now. They can deal with it later. He's probably already got the wink. Yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you in August, kind of a thing.
These are not. I'm like you guys. I don't worry about Gronk. I think when he does come back, it's 1 and 1A between Tampa and the Rams, honestly. But Tampa, the Rams getting Bobby Wagner to me.
I was gonna ask you.
I thought for sure he was going to go to Baltimore. I know Baltimore put a really good pitch to him, and I think the Ravens just said we'll match it, and that's what happened.
Is Green Bay? Are they even going to win their division?
Because their division sucks.
But who is Aaron Rodgers going to throw the ball to?
Yeah, he'll throw the ball to 2 rookies. I know he hates rookies, but he'll throw the ball to 2 rookies.
They don't draft them. They don't draft wide receivers. They'll come in and draft defensive players. They'll
draft. They drafted Devontae Adams in the 2nd round. They just never did one in the 1st round.
Right.
I can't remember their last 1st round wide receiver. It might be. Is it Javon Walker? That might be the last one.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
The thing I find funny is you have Aaron Rodgers, who everybody says maybe the greatest ever, and people are, oh no, the Packers will meet the same thing that the Raiders are offering me. Nah, it's okay. I'll go to Green Bay. I'll go to the Raiders. He didn't want to be there anymore, so they're flocking away from Aaron Rodgers.
I don't want to crash the Green Bay Packers party here because I love what the franchise has done. There's a lot of history toward them, but would you really want to go play in Lambeau in December? Think about that. He probably said, I had enough of this.
Or in September, for that matter.
Yeah.
I always told people, I want to go to Lambeau. I want to see that stadium. I don't want to see it in July and August. I'm really thrilled about going and seeing it in December or January. I like cold weather games. I just don't want to see a playoff game in the cold anymore. I'm not past now.
Yeah, and what's with Buffalo in an outdoor stadium? What are they thinking?
They're thinking the home field advantage. I think Buffalo fans like what they're doing. I'm sure they want a dome, but they're kind of doing the whole they cover up the fan section, but they're still giving that home field because let's face it, Buffalo doesn't lose that many playoff games at home. So I don't blame them for that. It's part of Buffalo's identity. So I kind of like how they build. I feel like everybody builds a dome now. Tampa.
I like the fact that it's not a dome.
The Vikings gave in at some point as well. I was expecting the Bills to. So.
What is the last? What is the last non-domed stadium that was built? What is the last one? That's actually an interesting question. Last NFL stadium built that's not a dome or not.
SoFi, Vegas, or domes.
The new
is it
Soldier Field.
Are you going all the way back to Carolina? Is that
no? Because Lincoln Financial Field MetLife was after.
Okay,
so that's
MetLife. Okay,
there you go.
That's probably it.
Yeah, I'm sure. As soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna look this up, and I'm just gonna DM you guys, and be like, "Oh, here it is." But
thank you.
Yeah, you're right. It's the Saints playing the dome, the Falcons playing the dome. I'm glad the Bucs don't. The Bucs ever playing that dome, I'd be furious because they don't need to play in a dome. They're in Florida.
Okay, so the story is, I many moons ago was a photographer for Pro Football Weekly, and how drenched I was on the sidelines. Just me as a photographer in the humidity after an afternoon rain. I cannot begin to imagine what it takes for a football player to navigate a day like that. The sun comes out, it's baking, all the water that dropped is just steaming up. Oh my gosh.
I'll defend you guys on this. I've never been to the Outback Bowl as a Penn State fan because I always say it's going to rain there and I'm going to get drenched. So I kind of understand where you're coming from. I always do make that joke. It always rains in Tampa.
It's about it. They are getting to the time when it's going to be new stadium time because do you know how much that stadium cost to build?
That stadium?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I remember when they built it. It was 97.
Now you remember, I mean, you know what, for instance, Atlanta was 2 point something billion.
Yeah.
LA is what, 5 billion?
It's more like 7.
Right. Ray J, 160 million.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think it was north of 200 million. I thought
it was less than $200 million.
Does it need renovations? Like, is it like out of date or?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
It opened in '98, I believe. I think I was at the
97
regular season game.
They changed it, or they changed the uniforms the year they got the stadium, right? Is that how they did it?
No, I think they played.
I'm trying to, or they changed the uniforms the year the Eagles.
I think it was a year or two before. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember they went. I think they went to the pewter when the Eagles went to midnight green, the 49ers went to that dark red. So I think they all found that mid-90s fad that we got to go darker uniforms.
Yep. Jeff, tell everybody where they can find you. I really appreciate you coming here and making us look like we know what we're doing. I really appreciate you coming here.
You can find me on Jeff Kerr CBS. I recommend a lot of Bucs fans follow me because I do love Tom Brady, and I love Tom Brady a lot more now he's on the Bucs. I wasn't a big fan of him when he was on the Patriots, but I think I was more Belichick than him. So, but overall, like the Bucs have so many guys I like Chris Godwin, obviously, because Penn State guy, and Chris Godwin was a beast there, and so I follow him a lot. But overall, it's just a likable team. I'm gonna miss Bruce Arians though. I'm gonna miss the news conferences.
He's still in the building. He's a special consultant.
It's not the same. It really isn't though. I always I would drop in on the Zoom calls and he'd be like, "Oh, I see a couple new faces. Oh no, I see a couple familiar faces here today." And I'm just like, "Hey, Bruce, got an interesting question for you." If I can get it in, but overall, I just love the way Tampa Bay just operates. It's a well-run franchise. Obviously, former assistant under Joe Banner in the Eagles front office. So again, those connections there. So yeah, follow me on Jeff Kerr CBS. I usually have a bunch of good content up on CBS sports.com. I host Eagles radio show on Jacob Media. It's a lot of fun. I mean, and we were talking about the playoff opponent. I'll give you guys a quick story here. We were talking about the playoff opponent who we want the Eagles to face in the playoffs. And I got ragged on because I said, I don't want any parts of Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I said, that game might be 24-0 before I blinked. Well, it was 31-0 before I blinked. So, so overall, but yeah, you can find my stuff at cbssports.com. I have a bunch of cool facts I put out on Twitter. And usually I just pick a random player or a random team a day. And I'm like, you know what? I'll put something out on him. So that's really good.
You are a good follow. I really appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you for being here.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You take care.
Yep, you too, guys.
Awesome. Jeff Kerr, very, very fortunate to have him here. Follow him, Jeff Kerr, CBS on Twitter. Lots of good info. Guys, we got somebody you're going to recognize that is in the house. Boy, am I excited about this. 15th overall draft pick.
2004.
A name all of you know. A player all of you know, 2003 BCS national champion with LSU, 2004 the 15th overall pick by your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champion with the Giants, and newly hired Plant City High School football head coach. I'm excited to bring him in here, Mr. Michael Clayton. Man, am I excited about this. You have no idea.
Rick, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
We're doing wonderful. My daughter lives in Plant City, by the way.
All right.
Okay, before we get into anything, I got to know about this Armwood, this tweet to Armwood. Talk to me.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I guess, when you play in the National Football League and you become a high school head coach, other coaches in the county start fearing you a little bit for some reason. But I think the coach at Armwood has made some text messages to some people that I know. He's mentioned that if Michael Clayton recruits his players, he's going straight to the state. So I just, here's a fair warning to all of the coaches in the county. Okay, I don't have to recruit players, and I would very much well appreciate it if every coach in the county keeps my name and my program out of their mouth, because I have resources on radio and resources like you guys, and I will blast you up every single time I hear that you are downing my program. So that's how we're going to roll at Plant City. I have a lot of respect for the coaches in the county, but I will not tolerate anyone assuming that we're doing things illegally and trying to downgrade our program. We do things upright and upfront, and that's how we're going to handle things at Plant City.
Boom. Very nice. And
mic drop.
So I guess what he's politely saying is to Armwood High, keep my name out your mouth. I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, they got to focus on. Armwood has a strong history. They've won state championships, and that coach that's there, he has a lot of work to do for the man who built that program. So I would suggest that he focuses on his program, because those young men deserve a head coach who's going to put his all into them and not worrying about another program. So that would be how official to him.
You seem really excited about this opportunity. You seem
I am. It's a new challenge for me. I always wanted to be a head coach. People hear me on the radio all of the time breaking down the Bucs, and now I get to impart knowledge on young men who want to accomplish some of the things that I was able to accomplish. Go to college, obviously, play in the National Football League, hopefully, but more so, it's a great opportunity to build young men up. And that has become my passion the past 15 years of my time here in Tampa Bay, inspiring young men to be better men, and beyond the game of football, things that they can lean on and survive and support their families when they become of age. So I'm excited about that process and this experience, and I'm surrounding myself with great coaches who are coming along the journey with me.
That is awesome. So let me ask you this. Getting on to the Bucs. Now I know you're around. You've got ears in the building, at least. You're a whole lot more connected than we are. My thought, and at the beginning of the show, I went through this, and I just said, look, I don't think you have to buy into it's Brady versus Arians. I don't think you have to buy the narrative. I think there can be different philosophies, and one decides, why don't I get out of the way? I mean, is that crazy to think that? I mean, there was a lot of smoke. Was there nothing to
it? Yeah, well, I don't buy into any of it. When you have when you have Tom Brady, obviously, any person in their right minds conforms to what he wants and what he likes best. I mean, it just makes common sense. If you want to win, you don't change the seasoning in the gumbo pot, neither do you stir it the wrong way. So I think Bruce Arians, in my opinion, did a great job making things likable to Tom Brady's taste. They had some growing pains earlier in the season, and they changed some things up to make sure that he can throw the ball to a running back out of the backfield, get the ball to his playmakers, and then take shots like he's always wanted to do in his career, utilizing the big weapons that he's had. With the Bucs was one of the main reasons why he came. So I don't really. Bruce Arians is a lovable guy, not just a likable guy, but a lovable guy. I've never heard not one player ever speak bad about him. Only praises from top to bottom.
I know one.
Oh, you do know one? Oh, well, maybe there's one. What I'm saying is I've never heard it. So that being said, I have a lot of respect.
He was joking about AB. That's what that was.
When you don't get paid money, I think that you lose, you go off your rocker a little bit. Understandably, but honestly, even in that situation, Bruce Arians gave Antonio Brown an opportunity, a chance. So that really shows his character, how he loves guys and wants the best for them, even when they probably don't deserve it. Bruce Arians throughout his career has been a coach that stands behind his players and has tried to give guys new opportunities. So I can take anything away from him.
Yeah, I have to agree. You don't hear people say, "Yeah, Bruce Arians, he was, I like playing for him. Yeah, he was a pretty good coach." I mean, it's this gushing love for the guy,
right,
by everybody. So yeah, I mean, I almost said Lovie Smith. Is Todd Bowles? Please don't go back to Lovie Smith now. Is Todd Bowles? I know he supposedly likes running a tighter ship, or he wants to run the ball more. There are going to be some changes. How similar is this year going to look to years past?
Yeah, like I said, anybody in their right minds is going to conform
to that Brady guy.
Yeah.
Offensively, I think that the relationship between Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady was a big reason why Tom Brady decided to come back, playing with a young coach, a coach of Byron. I played with Byron Leftwich, so I knew always that he was capable of being a head coach the way that he operated the offense on the field. He was a backup in Pittsburgh and had the team behind him 100% when Ben Roethlisberger went down. He's just a guy who's put in a lot of work, and he deserves the respect. And Tom Brady and him just they share, because they played the position at a high level. They have a great relationship, and I think that that's do well for the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, if you can keep your guys healthy, you're going to be better than you were last year. So that says a lot. As deep as we've been into the playoffs this year, I think if we stay healthy, you don't change anything. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. So we did well.
Everybody else get worse this offseason in the NFC?
I mean, you never know until the season starts. Guys come out of the woodworks all of the time. People want to downgrade Jameis Winston just because of his experience here in Tampa Bay, but he's earned the right to be on the field, and he was looking damn good when he was playing with the Saints and earned that starting position. And he is going to be a threat regardless of how people feel about him. He's hungry. He wants to beat Tom Brady. He wants to beat the Bucs. And he has some weapons and a defense down there. So they're always going to be a challenge if they can stay healthy. And I don't think that anybody on our team is thinking about the NFC being lightly, the NFC South being lightly, just because it's a rivalry all throughout the board. They don't like each other. And it doesn't matter if you didn't win any games, you still can lose in our division because it's so highly tense and battle.
Yeah. It just seems like so many good players from the NFC went to the AFC. I mean, it's so many. Green Bay. I look at Green Bay. You got to throw the ball to somebody. You can have a great quarterback, but you got to have somebody to throw the ball to. Yeah. I mean, where's he going?
Listen, like I mentioned, guys pop out. Guys are waiting in the wings for their opportunities. Yeah. Just because they don't have big names does not mean that the team is not productive. Guys are GMs for a reason. I promise you, they have reserves, and they feel comfortable about the guys that they've been training. Any smart GM, while your guys are starting, you are still building your program. You are still trying to wait for a moment when someone gets hurt that you're prepared for that moment to plug and play. We don't know who is going to be in Green Bay, but I have full confidence that, hey, as long as you got Aaron Rodgers, you got to have somebody to throw to.
They're going to make somebody look better. Yeah.
But are the Falcons the odds-on favorite for that #1 overall pick?
Say again.
The Falcons, are they odds-on favorite for the #1 overall pick? Because I look at them, I just shake my head. I'm like, there's Kyle Pitts and there's nothing else.
Yeah. Well, there are some things going on in Atlanta, and and that city itself tends to be a distraction to many,
right?
Because it's so festive in Atlanta. Yeah. So I think we're okay with Atlanta if they get the #1 pick. Good for them. Yep. I don't put too much stock in Atlanta, but they are still a competitive team with a good winning culture, and anything could happen any given Sunday.
Yeah.
What are some of your best memories?
Go ahead, Dave.
What are some of your best memories for the 6 years you were with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What stands out to you that you just cherish?
Oh, man. Obviously my rookie year was a very special time. And, being the team MVP that year as a rookie was very special. And, I had some down moments, but doing enough, having to humble myself and become a role player and, become a real true leader. The things that I leaned on, the reason why the Giants picked me up, I had to learn how to become a leader behind the scenes, and I was able to earn a second contract, and not a lot of guys get a chance to do that. I did it the right way, playing special teams. As a first-round draft pick is kind of unheard of, but I loved the game of football and did what was necessary to show myself approved. And I was respected by my teammates and respected by my coaches, and I learned a lot about myself. So those two moments in my career, were pinnacle moments with the Bucs. And, we went to the playoffs twice. I had some great memories with the players that I played with. I had probably about 11 quarterbacks in my 6 years. So I had a lot of friendships, quarterback receiver friendships. But we shared a nice intimate moments, man. But my time with the Bucs taught me about life. It prepared me for my time with the Giants, my 2 seasons with the Giants, and I went on to win a Super Bowl. So it was very productive. Even though the numbers didn't show it, it was very productive for me throughout my 6 years with the Bucs, and I wouldn't change a thing. And we're still honored today with the Bucs. They do a tremendous job of taking care of their legacy players and the former players who played for them, and they honor us, and it's a great feeling to still be a part of the program and to be able to speak about them on game day with Tom, Nicky, and we have fun. And sometimes I get in trouble a little bit, and sometimes they don't like my honesty, but that's okay. They still do a great job keeping former players involved in the program, and that's always a great honor.
Yeah, Michael, I really appreciate you being here. I got to ask you one thing. I want to talk because the draft is coming up in a few weeks. What did it feel like? Tell me about that. Tell me about that day.
Well, it was a surreal moment for me because I didn't think about the draft not one time my junior year. I was actually coming back for my senior year, and Coach Saban pulled me in after we won the national championship in his hotel room and says, "Mike, you my resources are telling me you're going to be a first-round draft pick, and I don't know if I'm going to be here next year. So I'm telling you, you need to go into the draft, and you're the only one who needs to go into the draft." So things kind of happened for me quickly because I was enjoying my college days every day.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a surreal moment, man. And it really didn't hit me until months after. I had an unfortunate event the day before, right after I got drafted. My best friend got into a car wreck, and he was hit by a drunk driver. He survived, but I was on site and had a very traumatic experience trying to pull him out of the car, and
how horrible.
Shattered vehicle. So my time for the draft was interrupted by things of that nature. It happened so quickly. The car wreck of my best friend, and I just kind of just really thanked the Father in heaven for the things that He was placing me in, and I leaned on my teammates. All of a sudden, I'm in the locker room with guys like Derek Brooks. Warren Sapp was on his way out. He didn't play that year with the Bucs. He ended up going to the Raiders, but he was in the locker room, and Rondé Barber and other guys, man, and Mike Allstott. Those guys were just very special guys and made me feel right at home, where I was able to become a star early in my career. And the draft was special, but playing with my teammates was more of a greater experience than that actual draft day.
And you didn't bust out of the gates. You kicked them down. I mean, wow.
That's what happened.
Michael.
What happens when you go to LSU, and I see that the Bucs are starting to mimic that and bring in some LSU guys to help the program. So they come in the game ready when we come through Bayou land and Bayou country, and it's always a good feeling to see my LSU guys do well.
There you go. Well, Michael, I'm very honored that you've joined us tonight. I don't want to keep any longer because I want to make sure you'll come back at some point because you're awesome. I am so excited. We're going to follow you. I'm going to make sure everybody's updated regularly on Plant City football.
Plant City football. I got new gear, man. We even have a little flag that looks like a Buccaneer flag, but it's PC all the way, Plant City. And
all right.
It's a very special town where the whole city really supports the football program. So I'm definitely honored to become the new head coach of Plant City High School Raiders. And I look forward to working with my young men. We get started tomorrow. So our first day, we're about a month behind Armwood. So they have the advantage. So I got to get Armwood.
What? Yeah. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. What?
Plant City and Hillsborough, all of those schools in the county, we are a month behind. We lost a lot of players. We're seniors and we got a young group, so we got a lot of work to do. And I'm gonna set the bar high for our guys to be highly competitive. We're gonna nurture our guys, raise them up. But I look forward to working with my team.
Excellent. Michael, everything I've heard from you on the radio, I've listened to you for years. Everything I've heard from you ever, you're the right kind of guy to be shaping these young men. So congratulations on that job. I'm excited, for your whole new venture that you have.
Rick, I appreciate it. David, you as well, man. Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Go Raiders,
Go
baby.
Raiders. Awesome. Michael Clayton, guys, how about that? That's that is something special. You talk about a guy that is that everybody who's been a Bucs fan for any length of time, that guy's got a nice spot in your heart. So it's good to have him come on here. Wow. Dave, you got anything you want to add?
What stood out that Michael Clayton has said through the years is that, and what really stood out to me was that football was not his purpose, but it was a springboard to his purpose. And it seems that he's finding at least part of his purpose in molding and shaping young men at Plant City High School. And it won't be just Plant City where he has an impact. He'll have an impact throughout the region.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, guys. Been a fun night. We've we unpacked Brady and Arians. We had Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports. We had Michael Clayton. We got Todd from Winter Park. Give us a call. And you have dazzling David White-Scarver here with me, Rick Hughes. And it's been a fun night. Dave, you got anything you want to close out with?
I just think about where we were before Mr. Brady uttered the words, "I'm back." And it's been an interesting off season that I wasn't expecting. Yeah. I think we may have a few more twists and turns, but it's great to be a Buc fan. The golden age continues on. So, and it does so in the off season as well. So
yeah.
There was no leaks about that Bruce Arians retirement now was there whatsoever. No. So interesting how these things that are totally untrue get blown up in the media, but that which really happens, nobody had any idea about. So.
Yep. Guys, I think the Bucs are in a better position today than they were a week ago. And that says something. Brady comes back. They're still in a better position today than they were the day Brady came back. So I'm excited for Todd Bowles. I'm excited for this coaching staff in general. I'm excited for the organization, which seems to be handling things with class. This is new for us, Bucs? Bucs fans. We're not used to this handling things correctly. Everything buttoned up, the messaging is solid, everything good. We're not used to that. We're used to complete chaos and MRSA and
back in the 80s, I never would have dreamed somebody uttering that the Bucs are a well-run organization.
Right. A very solid.
I never would have thought that was ever going to be uttered by any person on the planet.
The Bucs are a well-run organization, and you can be proud of them, and that's new. So Anyway, guys, want to thank y'all for being here. It's good to be here. Good to be back with you guys. Just hang around and keep your eye on Bucs Report for all the breaking news. We got the draft coming up. There's all kinds of info, so don't miss out. I'll finish this out, Dave, with the only way I know how to do it. The only thing that matters. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.